Hi, everyone. This is Robin Kinney with another episode of Motor City Woman TV. Today, we're sitting down with Lisa A. Smith, a serial entrepreneur, health and wellness subject matter expert, but also the founder of Professionally Fit and the Black Health Academy. Lisa has really dedicated herself to educating the Black community on things that we can do to increase our health. And today we're talking about our immune system, especially during this time, what we should be eating, and what we should be avoiding. So go ahead, settle in, and enjoy. Okay, good morning. We are here with the Lisa A. Smith. Lisa is someone who I've known for a while now. When we started Motor City Woman Studio in a small closet-sized recording space, and she's seen the entire path and the entire journey. And I've been honored to witness her journey and really trying to educate people on a healthier lifestyle and making the connection really on what we eat and how we feel. So good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, Robin.
How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm good. So we are all now, I think we're in week 5 or 6 of the stay-at-home order.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, but I've kind of settled into this new normal.
Yeah.
I've settled into it, and now looking at not only embracing it, but how do I make sure that, my mental wellness is taken care of, that I am eating what I need to eat, but also one aspect for anyone who's really paying attention to what's going on and how people are being affected, it's our immune systems, because this is something that you can beat. This is not, once you get it, that's it. But that your immune system is so important. I think I'm starting to see more conversation of what can I do to make myself stronger, so that if this happens to me, my body can beat it.
Yes. That's exactly right, Robin. And I'm so happy that this has been a catalyst for a lot of people. We tote the rhetoric, get ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready and all
Right.
of things. But truth be told, all of us have had a catalyst. And if this has been it for you, I applaud you. Because there's never a bad time to start working on yourself and working on your health. But you're absolutely right in that, COVID-19 does not have to be a death sentence. Right. And I even go as far to say, Robin, that it doesn't have to be a sick sentence, right? Have, mild symptoms and overcome it where it doesn't even disrupt your life.
Right.
And truly, but that definitely begins with how you take care of your body,
right?
The foods that you're putting in and the foods that you avoid intentionally,
okay.
And how you move.
Right. Okay. So let's get a program going here.
Yes.
Okay. With saying all of that, and of course, I read your blog. I'm looking at different TV shows about immune systems and increasing and improving our immune systems. And I've heard everything from different types of juices and drinks to powders. We got ginger, we got garlic, we got echinacea, we got elderberry.
Yeah.
So for someone who is, you're trying to do better, it can be a bit overwhelming. So what is the simple, starting today, this is something that you can do today?
Yes, 100%. You're right. And, it should be noted that everything you named is accurate. We know all of those things as herbs or foods from the earth, garlic, ginger, echinacea, raw honey, elderberry. Those things they still fit the bill, right? There's not a super special formula just for coronavirus. I want to be clear. Everything that kept you healthy and boost your immune system before this pandemic still does today. Right. But if you were just going to start today, the very first thing, honestly, that I would say, Robin, is hydration, which would include water, room temperature water.
room temperature water.
as well as
Okay.
intentional hot liquids every day.
Okay.
So I have my
Love
tea
it.
right here, actually.
Okay.
But intentional hot liquids every day, because what we know for certain, specifically about coronavirus, is that if you get it, and if you are one of those people who end up having respiratory problems, that excess fluid in the lungs is what usually causes the need for a respirator or hospitalization.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And so,
Got it.
in order to begin breaking up excess mucus in your body ahead of time, you want to be hydrating and then being intentional about hot liquids every day. And those hot liquids should not include any dairy or any sugar.
Okay. Is there a certain type of tea? You know, because I love a green tea every day,
Mhm.
just with some lemon. But I mean, is there a certain types of tea that people should be drinking right now?
hmm Yeah, so all the things you named, actually. So if you're buying a tea blend and it has a turmeric, a lemon, a ginger, a echinacea,
Okay.
a elderberry, those are great. So the herbal teas, right? So let's
Okay.
try and avoid some of the caffeinated teas. Go for the herbal teas.
Okay.
If you want just the tea, the hot water, then feel free to add, some fresh lemon.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we want to avoid the sweeteners.
Avoid the sweeteners.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that we can do. Now, what are some foods, and I've heard you mention this before on other shows, what are some foods that actually decrease
hmm
your immunity? Because, you could be doing some great stuff, but then sabotaging all of your work
Yeah.
15 minutes later.
Thank you for saying that, Robin. We sometimes get under the impression that we can add the good in without having to remove all the bad. And
Yeah, so you can't be running the pot pies
no,
with some herbal
that's
tea.
right. And microphone thinking you nailing it, right?
I am doing it.
Yes. Okay. Stop it. Shut it down. Okay. So, in addition to drinking half your body weight in ounces of water per day, drinking
Okay.
liquid every day, we
Okay.
also, Robin, need to remove refined sugar and dairy from our diet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is exceptionally important. The refined sugar shuts down your immune system for up to 4 hours after having it.
Wow.
And this isn't just cookies, cakes, candy, pies,
This
chocolate.
is so much.
Exactly, Robin. It's literally, this is in your jelly and your jam. This is in your peanut butter. This is in your salad dressing. This is in your seasonings. The first ingredient in Lawry's is brown sugar.
Oh,
So
Lord.
we have to read everything. It's not just a matter of getting rid of the obvious sweets. We
Mm-hmm.
need to attack the unintentional or hidden sugar. So it's all about reading those ingredients, because some of us, we start our day with sugar, not realizing we might think we're having a healthy meal, but we're opening up a apple cinnamon oatmeal packet, not realizing that's all sugar,
That's
right?
all sugar.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to eliminate the sugar, Robin, and then we also need to eliminate dairy. Any
Mm-hmm.
cow's milk or cow's milk derivative creates excess mucus, and that's what we're trying to get rid of, that
Mm-hmm.
fluid in the lungs and other areas
Right.
of our bodies and brains. And so
Mm-hmm.
eliminating 100% all dairy is going to be exceptionally important as well.
Mm-hmm. And I've heard you talk about that before, that I think you said we're the only ones who drink someone else's milk.
Yes. Yeah.
And I
Humans.
was like, that made such perfect sense. I was like, yeah, that's so true.
Yes. Yeah. We don't need breast milk from another mammal. Every mammal makes breast milk for its own species. So when we're done with our mom's breast milk, when we're
That's it.
weaned off the breast, we no longer require milk in our diet for the rest of our lives.
So you can ideally get that vitamin D
Mm-hmm.
from other.
You got it. I'm here for you. I got you.
All right, I know. I got the right person helping me. I'm like, D, right? D
Yes.
from other sources.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
So you definitely don't need cow's milk for any vitamins and minerals. The dairy industry has completely brainwashed us and told it this, pseudoscience. We can get, as you know, the sun, and the only food that you can get vitamin D from is actually mushrooms. But vitamin D is actually not a vitamin; it's actually a hormone that our body produces once it becomes in contact with the sun. And then you can get it from some mushrooms. So, but we don't need milk for anything. The calcium, the probiotics, all comes from plants.
Gotcha. Now, for busy moms like myself, and we're out and, we're trying to do the best that we know how for our kids and give them what they need and what's going to help them become, strong and healthy. And we're in the grocery stores looking at, all the different cereals, all the different brands. If you had complete control, what is one item that you would take out of distribution where people could no longer access it because it is that bad? I want to know.
Okay. I was really thinking about this, Robin. You threw me for a loop with this one because there are so many things. But
oh my gosh,
one thing I could take out of distribution, you know what? Honestly, I would probably say chicken. So
okay, so just the raw chicken.
Yeah, all chicken, raw chicken, processed, whatever forms it comes in. The chicken nuggets, frozen, canned, fresh.
See, I thought you were going to say something that's, super sugary or like Kool-Aid or something.
And let me tell you why. Because I would prefer to remove a food that people are under the impression that it's healthy and that they can eat it. Because I feel like the sugar, I still teach and lecture to the detriments of it, but I'm usually talking to the choir in that most people already know it's bad for them.
Right.
And they're already making efforts to eliminate it, get rid of it. They know they're addicted. We can work through that. I think particularly the biggest culprits in the grocery store, Robin, are things that people are eating that they really think they're making a healthy choice. And they'd have no idea that every time they're eating this, like chicken is a carcinogen, like they're, increasing their chance for cancer. And we hear it all the time. Because I think one of the most common things I hear, Robin, is that I gave up pork a long time ago. I don't eat much red meat. I just do my chicken. And it's almost cringy to me that that it's a healthier meat. And so that's the one I will land on, will be chicken. Seriously.
All forms of chicken. Ooh, that's hard. That's a tough one.
See
what I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting boneless, skinless chicken breast. I'm making a stir fry.
No, absolutely not. So number one, they pump the chicken with phosphate and salt water. And so there's additives in this fresh meat that food companies, the meat companies, are not required to list. Meat companies are not required to list the additives like packaged foods. So you think most people think when they buy raw chicken that they're just buying the chicken and there's nothing in it.
Right.
It's not true. So either they don't list the additives or they list it as like broth or something.
Okay.
And so they're pumping all this phosphorus and all of this salt water into the chicken to plump it up. And not only that, it is in and of itself, the meat is a carcinogen. It is extremely toxic. And so, and it has preservatives in it, like nitrates, nitrites. And when those nitrates and nitrites combine with what we call amines in the meat, that's what makes it so it has some of the very same carcinogens that are in cigarettes.
Wow.
So I think that's the biggest culprit, because again, people think chicken, I can keep that because that's healthier.
Right.
They don't realize how much mucus it causes in their body. They don't realize, how much extra phosphorus, which can be, problematic, especially for somebody who has kidney disease. So there's so many reasons why people think it's healthy and it's completely wrong. So I would remove that, because the sugar, I think people already know is bad. We just have to do the work of behavior change.
Right. So what's the alternative then to chicken?
Beans, lentils.
Oh yeah, yummy. And I love beans. And we can have, I think this past Sunday, we had some pinto beans, but I made a pan of cornbread to go with it. But that was a meal. It was so good. We put a crock pot of beans on, and I'm done.
And you know what you did when you made those beans, though? You really, really boost your immunity. Let me tell you why. Over 60% of our immune system is in our gut. And there's a specific type of starch that's only concentrated in beans. helps to restore our gut health. A lot of us have digestive issues and gut issues.
Right.
And so having a really, really healthy gut, or microbiome, as we like to call it, feeding those healthy bacteria are really critical. And the beans specifically have a certain type of starch that restores gut health and feeds the healthy bacteria. So you made a phenomenal immune.
Yay.
Good job, lady.
Thank you. I'm trying. Now, is that why they say to also take a probiotic?
So you don't have to take a probiotic.
Okay.
So probiotics are the gut bacteria, and prebiotics is what we feed them. And so probiotics, the way you restore your gut health is by killing off the bad bacteria, and you kill off the bad bacteria by starving it. So you have to stop feeding the bad bacteria, the sugar, the processed food, all of that stuff, and the good bacteria can then thrive, our gut flora. So it's not necessary to necessarily take a supplement that doesn't do much. You have to starve out the bad bacteria.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we got instead of our chicken, beans, lentils, which, I mean, that should really be part of a balanced diet. Anyway, I love beans. We probably have beans at least once a week over here. And I'm really trying to get my kids used to not eating meat. And so, other alternatives to meat. And a couple of my kids, they don't enjoy meat at all. They were just born that way. Which was in the beginning with my now 8-year-old. I remember taking her to the doctor and was like, she won't eat meat. I don't know. Is there something wrong with her? And he was like, she doesn't like meat. Let it go. And here we are years later, and she just never took to meat. And now my 3-year-old is the same. And I didn't notice it until I remember maybe a year or so ago giving him chili and looking down, and he had picked all the meat out and was just eating the beans.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh, okay, well,
there we go.
Yep, they have a preference. And so I'm always looking for, meatless alternatives and recipes for kids, because they're still kids and they're still picky eaters. But I found that when I introduce things to them repeatedly, they'll eventually give it a try. And I have to have things accessible. And that's why I tell other moms, they'll eat what's accessible. So if there's chips accessible, that's what they're going to eat. But I usually chop up fruit. So it's super easy. It's already sliced up. It's just about taking a bowl out of the refrigerator and having some apple slices, having some orange slices, having some grits or whatever. And you will be surprised that you look up and they like, and then because we teach them, we teach them this is an acceptable food. This is what we eat in this house.
That's right. And I applaud you as a mother, Robin, because you have to realize that the children are just small humans, and they're allowed to have preferences. But moreover, I'm so glad you didn't try and force animal products or meat on your children, because a lot of times we actually told the narrative that this is a health food, like you need meat to live, you need meat to thrive. So I'm so glad that you were tuned in enough, educated enough to say, okay, well, there are other alternatives. And you don't have to have meat. And once again, I'm going to respect your preferences as a human.
Right.
Even though you're the kid, I'm the mom, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But still, there's other ways to get what you need. And I don't want people to think that I'm saying that beans really are a sub for chicken. Like, there's no sub for chicken. All I'm saying is you can fill up on many other things that are better for you and just as delicious.
Right. Now, I would be remiss, especially during the time that we're in right now, to not talk about all of the reports of how the African-American community, our community, is being disproportionately impacted by COVID-19. And when I saw the first report, I was like, of course. And it's because of not only some genetic issues, but lifestyle issues that have just plagued us for generations, and things that we really could control if we wanted to.
Absolutely. Well, the fault lies on both sides. Absolutely. Way before this, there were health disparities for people of color in Western medicine. There has been for years, hundreds of years, right? Going all the way back to slavery, where, Marion Sims, who's been deemed a godfather of gynecology, used Black slave women for
Mm-hmm.
curing a patient in his backyard without anesthesia. So we have historically in this country, people of color, been used against our will for the advancement of medicine. And so what that has created is what we call iatrophobia, right? Kind of the fear of the white coat. And we do have this narrative in our community, like you go in the hospital, you don't come out, or you come out worse than what you went in, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
we have developed kind of this way of dealing with our own health issues. We wait to the very last minute.
Mm-hmm.
We just can't take it anymore. Or we, do home remedies, which is nothing wrong with that. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but that's fair because we have never been respected in medicine as really human, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But on that same note, you're right in that our lifestyle habits make us more vulnerable to COVID-19 because people with pre-existing conditions are more likely to not only get it, but die from it. So what we're seeing, especially here in the Detroit area, Robin, is that over 70% of deaths are people of color, people in the African American community.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason this virus is hitting us so hard is for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're more likely to have pre-existing conditions. Number two, we're more likely to be uninsured or underinsured.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, we're more likely to come in contact with the virus because we're more likely to work in essential jobs that can't be done from home, right? We're
Yeah.
more likely to work in jobs that are hourly jobs that require, us to be on site to do the work. So we're more likely to come in contact with the exposure. People don't really realize we're most of the prison systems and the detention centers, right? And they're now running rampant through those institutions. And so people don't actually realize, Robin, that social distancing is a luxury.
Yep.
That's privilege.
So true.
Your
It is.
ability to social distance is privilege. It is not something everybody can automatically do. You know what I
Right.
mean? And we're more likely to live in more densely populated urban communities. So if you live in a suburban area, you automatically are in less contact. You automatically have more space. But if you're in these densely populated communities like Chicago, Detroit, and NYC, then there's just more of us, right? So it makes me so sad, Robin, that this is not new news. It goes right along with all the other chronic diseases that we see, the hypertension, the obesity, the autoimmune disease, the type 2 diabetes, right? The high cholesterol, the breast cancer, all of these things disproportionately impact people of color. And that's why I started the Black Health Academy in 2017. This is our exact mission, is to educate and arm our people with the knowledge to be their own advocate.
Right.
There was just a news story that came out yesterday about a gentleman who got turned away from 3 different hospitals
Yeah, I saw that.
and dying of COVID-19. And a good friend of mine on my podcast, the Black Health Academy podcast, we recently talked about how she said, I think my husband had it. And when I was calling around to see who does testing, she said only Beaumont hospitals were doing testing. Beaumont hospitals are in the suburban.
Right.
There's so many layers to this, Robin, that we honestly never had a shot.
Well, I really think this is also shining a spotlight on the disparity of access to healthcare.
Yes.
And I hope and I pray that, people who have the power to make changes are paying attention, because I am seeing the conversation, being had, this is what's happening, Governor Whitmer putting together a task force, because we have to be proactive. We can't just say, oh, it's affecting us because, we have hypertension and diabetes. Okay. And then just sit back and say, okay, well, it is what it is. There's so many different things, like you said, with living spaces. The fact that a lot of African Americans have jobs that are essential.
Yes.
So interacting with the public,
Yes.
And things of that nature. You have to think about the postal workers. You have to think about the bus drivers. You have to think about people who are still working in restaurants and in, food services. And so it's like there's so many different areas. So I was really happy to see when the Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist announced that task force to really take a deeper dive into why this is happening and what we can do to counteract it, because it's here. This is when people say when this is over. No, this is here, everyone. So until a vaccine comes, we have to learn to operate within this new normal.
That's right.
I don't want them to rush with a vaccine because I want them to get it right.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's talks of a second wave hitting harder than the first did by next winter. And really, this is it's already altered, history. It's going to alter life in the way in which we know and in which we live it. I have good friends saying, you know what, I think I'm just going to homeschool my kid from here on out. There's different ways of looking at things. And it lets you know that really no matter how hard we work and what we do, there's always going to be some level of vulnerability that exists, but even more so for people of color, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, but you've given us some tools to increase our immune system, to educate ourselves is one thing that I always see as a consistent message from you, whether it be via the Black Health Academy or on your podcast or on the blogs. Everyone should subscribe to your newsletter because I'm always getting recipes for things or just information that I need to know about. And it's delivered in a way that I can understand, that it doesn't completely go over my head, but I'm like, okay, Lisa, that makes sense. I should be eating chicken.
Right?
I get it. I'm listening to you.
I'm multilingual. I talk our language too.
You do.
Yeah. I'm not about to be frou. We got to keep it real. Like, no.
Right. You are good at that. So how can people reach you? How can people work with you?
Thank you so much, Robin. So I am Lisa Angel Smith on Facebook and Instagram. My website is lisaangelsmith.com. And from there, you can access my company, the Black Health Academy, my other company, Professionally Fit. I'm the author of the Plant Based Foodie, 100% plant-based recipe book. I'm also the creator of a signature course called Farm to Table, which I teach multiple times a year live and virtually. And so farmtotablecourse.com, and farm is spelled P.H.A.R.M. So we're going from pharmaceuticals to food, honey.
Love it.
Farmtotablecourse.com, or again, just lisaangelsmith.com. Or you can call me and we can set up a consultation at 313-335-1400.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Lisa. I always appreciate you. And like I said at the beginning, you're someone who has had the consistent message of, hey, we can do this, and let me help you. And I think that's just excellent, and you're doing excellent work. So thank you.
Thank you for having this platform for us people of color. I appreciate it. It's much needed.
Thank you. All right. Yay, we did it.